Bookish hashtags. This is something I've been thinking about a lot right now as I'm finishing up writing the second book of my Greek myth duology. And looking forward and knowing that as soon, if not even, technically you should be doing it before the book releases, authors should be building a buzz about their upcoming story. And of course, when it releases, you want to be able to talk about it as much as possible. And you want to be attracting the right readers. So bookish hashtags are very, very important. And right now, as I'm working again on my Greek myth duology, I'm trying to figure out some of the best hashtags that would work to hook the right readers, to interest them for the algorithms. Whenever algorithms work the way it's supposed to work, push them, push out my content to the right people. And obviously there's some, iconic ones. You have fantasy books, you have Greek myth and Greek retellings or myth retellings, etc., so on. But I'm trying to come up with some really unique, or maybe not necessarily unique, but hashtags that do apply to my story that aren't necessarily overly broad, because I really do want to kind of start focusing and promoting my book to the right people, especially as I get closer and closer to formatting the first book for release early next year. But if you can think of any kind of good hashtags that would pull the right people who would be interested in a Greek myth-based retelling, I know it's going to be on the dark fantasy side because a lot of my work, especially for the older audiences, do tend to be on the darker side of fantasy, but I'm trying to come up with unusual or maybe just not as broad hashtags that are a little more niche down than something like Fantasy Book Talk. So if you have any ideas, please let me know, because this is something that I'm going to start compiling a list for the future when I'm getting just a little closer to being ready to really starting to promote this first book of this Greek duology.